The scripture says, "A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever." Deuteronomy 23:2-3 KJV. In Jewish interpretation, particularly in the Talmud Yevamot 7:6b-7:7a, it is explained that this restriction applied to Moabite men, not Moabite women. That is why Ruth the Moabitess could lawfully marry Boaz, and her descendant David was accepted by God. The phrase "to the 10th generation" is understood, not as a literal count of generations, but as a permanent exclusion of phrase meaning never. However, in later commentary traditions such as Midrashic or mystical vessels of interpretation, the idea arose that through intermarriage and purification, a Moabite lineage could become sanctified or redeemed by the 10th generation, symbolizing complete restoration or cleansing from the ancestral curse. Thus, the vessel or interpretation you mentioned corresponds to that symbolic teaching. If an Israelite man joins with a Moabite woman, the offspring is accepted and sanctified by the 10th generation, meaning divine mercy completes its 3. The Moabite. Between 8:09 to 9:08 a.m., 1033 to 1017 BC, 1. When the feast of Passover came, on the 15th of the first month, a Moabite shepherd came to David and talked with him, saying, "My lord the king, you have known that I, your servant, have been loyal to Israel from my youth, and now take me away from dwelling among uncircumcised people and circumcise the flesh of my foreskin to take away my reproach, so that I can sit among your people." 2. And David said, "The Lord does not want your people," and he commanded, "An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the assembly of the Lord forever." Deuteronomy 23:3. And we cannot seek your peace nor your prosperity, but how can I help you today? 3. The servant answered, "Is it not it true that Ruth was of our people, and you are one of her children and descendants, and the Lord has chosen you and your descendants forever?" For then said he, "You have given a convincing argument. Stand here with me too. Ask from the mouth of my Lord." 5. And David asked the Lord about the statement of the Moabite servant. 6. And David said, "O Lord, Lord of hosts, teach me wondrous things out of your law, so that I may know how to rule for this servant, and what should be done with him." 7. And the Lord said to Nathan the prophet, "Go to 14. David my servant, and tell him the message that I tell you." 8. And Nathan went to David, to his chambers, saying, "This is what the Lord of hosts says, I have heard your prayer, so tell the Moabite, you are a Moabite man, not a Moabite woman, for I never said a Moabite woman and Ammonite woman, because their women and daughters belong to the Lord. However, you are cursed by the Lord and forbidden to enter the Lord's assembly." 9. When the Moabite heard the message of the Lord, he cried out and exclaimed, "I am forbidden from entering the assembly of the Lord." 10. And the king took him and appointed him a shepherd among David's shepherds, and he was there until the 3rd year of the reign of King Solomon. Then he died. 11. And he had a daughter whose name was Sapphira. She had a beautiful form and was very fair to look upon. King Solomon took her to be his concubine, and she found grace and favor in his sight more than all the other concubines, and she became the chief of the concubines' residence. 12. And this became the statute in Israel forever.